more in detail how God created the world. But in the Torah, it just says God created the world. But the Rambam explains it a lot more. He starts off his book not just in a general way that God created the world and everything that exists comes from his existence, but he doesn't explain it just in a general way. Ki bat chalat, like in the beginning, Torah shebechtav, of the written Torah. The words are in parentheses there. You with me, Kobe? 7 lines down. First word on the line. Next line. 8th line down. Ella, but. Gam also. The Rambam explains, not just in a general way. Ella, but. Gam also. Shekol nimtzaim. That all of the creations, that all existence, nimtza'u, comes out me'emitit, from his true existence. In other words, not just that God creates everything from his mouth or he just throws things out. No, but everything comes from God's true existence. What do you mean his true existence? Hainu, Shehabriya, that the creation, the Rambam is telling us that the creation, he is bekoach, in the power, ha'atzmut, of God's essence. Semicolon, put a semicolon here. Yesh ha'emiti, God's true existence. Now, that the world is not like the Eastern religions and all these people say that the world is just an image or it's just a, fantasy, or there's a better word for it, a mirage, or they have a better word for it. An illusion. The world is not an illusion. The world is not an illusion. The world is illusionary. It's true, the world is very misleading. Right? And it's very, very, false. The world is very false. But the fact of the world is essentially the world is true. Our job is to find that truth in the world. Because the world comes from God's true existence. V'chein, and similarly, Shehabriya, that the creation, he is bechol, in every rega v'rega, each and every moment. That's what the Rambam is saying. Kamosha Katuv, like it says, V'hemshech, like the Rambam writes in the continuation, ha'inyan sham, of the Inyan over there. You can look at English. We have over in English. Kobe, we have in English. In the library, we have the whole Rambam. You can open up and read the first to the beginning. Right? Read. The im, it says, what does the Rambam say? Quote, that if Ya'aleh, it will arise, al hadat, in your mind, shehu, that God, eno matsui, does not exist. If you might think that God does not exist, ein davar acher, there is no other thing, yochal, that is able, lehimatzot, to exist. End quote. What does the Rambam say? If you might think, you want to be an atheist, be an atheist. God doesn't exist, God doesn't exist. But if you say that God doesn't exist, it means that nothing else exists either. Nothing else exists. How can you say that God doesn't exist? Say it. You can say anything you want. But if you say that, you should know that nothing else exists. And you should know that there are philosophers that are like that they say that. Right? Especially the French philosophers. God doesn't exist and nothing else exists either. Right? Everything is just a big dream. Nothing really means anything. No, you have to understand what he's saying. What the Rambam is saying. The Rambam is saying that everybody explains everything, but where does existence come from? Where does the fact of existence? We want to say that the world is a big dream. It's a big dream. Where did the dream come from? A dream is something, right? The whole world is an illusion. It's all false. It's a big lie. Good, but where does the illusion come from? Illusion is a thing. An illusion is a thing. A lie. A lie exists. A lie is real. Right? If I tell you that I own the Empire State Building and I want to sell it, Right? So I'm lying, but it's a real thing, a lie. I'll go to prison for a lie. I can't say to the judge, I'm sorry, Rabbi, I'm sorry, Judge, but a lie is not real, so it's not real what I did. So you can't put me in jail, because it's not real. It's ridiculous. So if the world is an illusion, so it means that there's something there. There's an illusion. Where did the illusion come from? Is that? If you want to say that God doesn't exist, it means that there's no existence. There's no such thing as existence. Even lies can't exist. Nothing can exist. So what do you have to do? You have to make up a system that it's based on you lying to yourself. You want to say God doesn't exist, but the people that say that God doesn't exist, in the end, good, you can keep yourself occupied in the world. So you think, but if you really think about it in a big way, you get these guys like Kant and Spinoza and all these people, right? And they start to think, eventually they have to come to some sort of a conclusion. There has to be some sort of a basic something, right, that's keeping the world. There has to be some sort of a basic reality, that from this reality everything comes. Even the biggest atheists, right? I don't know if it's permissible to say his name, Spinoza. He was a very evil person in the end. I mean, he was really the basis of Nietzsche and Hitler and all these people. They were very inspired by him. Yes, very inspired by him. Because he explained in very genius ways how there's no good and there's no bad and there's no right. It's just like Hinduism. It's almost exactly the same thing. Almost exactly the same thing. I read in Wikipedia or something like that. All there is just this big force and this big power and big energy. But there has to be some big something. Right? There has to be something. Yeah? You have to say that there's a creation. You have to say that there's a creator or an originator or a source or a basis or something. You have to come to that conclusion. If you're not, then you're just lying to yourself, which is also okay. You can lie to yourself if you want to. But nobody would like to lie to themselves. You say the whole world is a lie, right? The whole world is a big false, a fabrication. No. You sure everything is a lie? Everything is a lie. That statement you just made, is that a lie? Right? That statement you just made, is that a fabrication? Right? That everything is a lie? Yeah. So if so, that statement is a lie, right? Everything is a fabrication. So that statement you just made is a fabrication, right? So maybe there is. You understand what I mean? It's like a person says, everything I say is a lie. So you say, no, what you just said now is a lie. No, that was the truth. So everything you just said. Right? What's the point? It's not a semantics class, but the point is that there has to be something that brings things into existence. Even the existence is a lie, but there has to be somewhere that this lie exists. It has to be. If you say that the world was created by God and it's created every second, we talked about this last night. Right? It was created every second by God. Good, but why did He create it? Then you go to the Hindus and these people. They say there is no why. You just get into it. That's unfortunately this guy Spinoza that I talked about. There is no why. There's no right and wrong. You just live with reality. You just try to coast and have the most fun and pleasure possible. Which, how do you have the most pleasure possible? Don't do anything. Just coast and be calm. Right? Get to higher levels of reality. Don't get involved. Non-involvement. They're very nice ideas. But this is talking about God, the world without any meaning to it. You just live, just existence, just be. Just being. But still, nevertheless, they're saying there is a being, there is a basic being to everything. But when God gave the Torah, He explained why He gave the world. So that's the point. That's why the Torah says, I am God who took you out of Egypt. God could have said, I am God who created Egypt. But God gave the Torah, He said, I created Egypt, yes, but I took you out of Egypt. What Egypt did is not what I want. I created it, and I created it for my will, right? And I want there to be Egypt, right? But the reason I want there to be Egypt is so that you should go out of it. You should go out of it. You should leave it. So don't think that everything you want is right? You want to get depressed. That's what you want, and it feels natural. But you got to go out of it. You want to be lazy. Right? That's what you want. That's your nature. It feels good. But you should know that God doesn't want you to do that. You're just a creation. You got to do what the Creator wants. You like to get angry at people. You like to cheat. You like to lie. You like to that. You should know you want to do it. It's very nice. But that's not what God wants. Now you got homosexuality. Hashem Yishmor. God forbid. It's a terrible, one of the worst terrible things in the world. But it's natural. People like it. They get along with each other. It makes them fulfilled. They like life. It says, yes, God made me that way. Yes, it's true. God made you that way. It's a nature. People have that nature, yes. But it's a thing that God doesn't want you to do. He wants you to leave Egypt. That's why God gave the Torah. That's why He says, I am God who came out of Egypt. To teach you that, right, there is a world and there is Egypt. But why did I create the world? That's the thing. Why did I create the world? I created the world in order for you to go out of Egypt. But God, He doesn't answer this in this mind. That's not so. That's not so. It's not. Believe me, that's not so. It's not so. There's some people who love to drink, and there's some people who love to gamble, and there's some people who love to get hit, and they love to hit these other people. And some people love to be depressed. They like it. They enjoy it, right? Yes, it's true that some people do it because they try just that, but some people that do it, they just wouldn't enjoy it. Some people doesn't. Some people like baseball. Some people hate it. Some people like basketball. Some people hate it, right? Some people like this thing. They like it. So they like to do it. So if I like it, why not do it? But it's easy. Right? For whatever reasons, there's a million reasons. Go and ask the psychiatrist why. That's not the important thing. If a person has a desire to do any of these natural things, to get angry, to have big desires, it's another thing of lust. A person has lusts, desires, it feels good. I want to do it, feels good. You have these things. Go to a rabbi, go to a psychiatrist, ask him how to get out of it. Right? You have to do tricks. A lot of times it's not enough. A person says, okay, I see it's wrong in the Bible. I'm not going to do it. Right? They had this big casino in Jericho over here, Jericho. They opened it up. Religious people went there. Religious people would pay us with this. They never gambled in their life. They didn't even know what it was. They never saw a card. Right? They went there just for fun and they couldn't stop. All of a sudden they gambled. Right? Other people could go there. Non-religious people, anti-religious people, go there one time, play the slot machines or something like that. One time, stupid. Another guy goes there, a religious guy, he knows that it's wrong, he loses his house, he loses everything, he can't. You tell him, no, but you shouldn't do it. It says in the Bible, you shouldn't. Yes. He could give lectures. He could give lectures why it's forbidden, why you shouldn't do it. Like the marriage counselor who goes home and beats his wife. Right? He gives lectures and explain to people why it's wrong, but as soon as he goes home and he sees, my food isn't cooked for me, I worked the whole day, can't control himself. People are addicted to things. They can't control themselves. You can tell them whatever you want to. Just stop eating. Just stop. Just stop smoking. Just stop. They can't do it. So Hashem gave the Torah to tell you, you can't stop. Try. Keep trying because you're doing the wrong thing. Right? It's too hard. I can't stop it. Try. I know it's hard, but you'll find a way. Keep trying. That's why God gave the Torah. Okay, let's go. But the Rambam writes and tells us that begins the written Torah, the oral Torah, with the idea that God is creating the world all the time. And if it will rise up on your mind to think that God, that the world doesn't exist, we're not making enough progress. Too much talking here in the class. The kavana is, okay, hakavana is, the first word in line is lehimatzos. Hakavana, bazeh, the intention of this, he is. Shagam, that even. La'acharei, after. Shenimtza'u, that exist. Hanimtza'im, the existences, even after the world exists. But if lo yihiyeh, there will not be matsui, found bohem in them. I'm sorry. Lo yihiyeh, if he will not be matsui, found, I think it means bohem in them. If God's presence will not be in everything, Tevatel will be negated, Mitziutam, their existence. The Shnei, be with us, Kobe, be with us at least with finger. The Shnei and Yanim, that the two topics, these two topics, Shebetorah Chasidut, in Torah Chasidut. What are the two topics? Number one, that God created the world. And number two, that he creates it all the time. The world depends on him. Here are the two things. Shabriya, that the creation, he is bekoach, in the ability and the power, ha'atzmut, of God's essence. Number one, that the creation comes from God's essence. And number two, shabriya, that the creation, he is bekol rega, every second. Katvam a Rambam, the Rambam wrote them, Bisefar signon, in the form, the halacha of a law. The Rambam's book is not a book of philosophy. It's not a book of Kabbalah. The Rambam's book is a book of law. The Rambam is writing a law that you have to believe that God created the world from his true being and that he's creating it every second. He's writing a law. This is what every Jew should believe. Hine, behold, nosef lazeh, in addition to this, Gam also, B'hatchala, in the beginning, the Matan Torah of Matan Torah, Yeshno, there is, Inyan, the topic, first word in line, the Briat of the creation. There is the topic, Briat of the creation, Shemayim Ba'oretz, of the heavens and the earth. Ela, but she'inyan zeh, that this topic, hu behachilik, is in the portion, the Torah Shevel Peh, of the oral Torah, the pasuk Rishon, the first sentence of Matan Torah, HaPerush, which is the explanation, the Torah Shebechtav, of the written Torah. What do you mean? The Rambam's book is a book of law. Where do we get the law from? Matan Torah. How does the Rambam write his book that was given in Matan Torah that God created the world? So if so, the Rambam's book is an explanation of the written Torah. And he's explaining that the beginning of the Torah is that God created the heavens and the earth. Just that's our question. V'yesh lomar, we can say, habiur b'zeh, the explanation, the al yadei, but by means of, esek Torah, working at Torah, by means of working at the Torah. But often in a way. When you learn Torah, you learn it in such a way. Deyihiyu, that they should be. Be'einecha, in your eyes, chadashim, brand new. But that's how we started the class. When you learn the Torah, you have to think. The Torah is coming right now from God. And I'm saying these words, these are God's words in my mouth. When you learn the Torah in such a way like that the Torah is new and it's godly, Megalim, you reveal, also, Hachidush, the novelty, the newness, Ba'abriya, in the creation. Shehi, which is Mitchadeshet, made new, Bekol Rega, every second, Me'ayin Liyesh, from nothing to something. If you learn Torah properly, if you learn Torah and feel that it's God's Torah, and you say the words, then you start to feel that the whole world is brand new. All of a sudden, the whole world becomes good. It becomes a new place. Suddenly you start to realize it's God's world. You feel happy to be created. You feel happy to be God's partner. A person will feel happy that he has obstacles and difficulties that he can overcome. You know the story about I just told you the story about Zusha and his brother with the toilet. A known story. Zusha of Anipoli and his brother was Eli Melech of Lizinsk. And they were once put into prison for some reason, whatever. Put in prison, whatever. And the prison room was just a room, let's say, twice as big as this, and it had a big pot in the middle where people went to the bathroom. And once a day, the wardens or whatever, or the prisoners themselves would empty this pot out and put it back in, right? So here was Zusha and his brother were in this room, and Zusha started crying. The other one started crying. Now, this is the way I heard the story. Zusha started crying, and his brother said, "What are you crying for?" He said, "Because we're in this room, and there's this big pot of excrement in the middle, and we can't pray, and we can't daven, and you're not even supposed to think words of Torah. And it smells bad in the room. You're not allowed to pray and learn Torah. And I feel so terrible. I can't." So his brother said to him, "1 second. The reason we can't learn Torah in a room where there's a pot of excrement is because that's what God wants. God wrote it in the law, in the Torah, that we're not allowed to. So we're doing God's will by not learning, so we should be happy." We're actually connected to God by not learning and not davening because we're doing what God wants. God says you're not allowed. The only reason we're not learning is not because we don't want to. We want to. Because God said it's forbidden. So we're doing what God wants by not. So we should be happy. So they're happy. They started dancing. And they were happy. So the warden, everybody sees them happy. They all start clapping their hands, and they also want to be happy. They also dance. So the warden comes along and says, "What's going on? Why are these two Jews dancing?" So somebody says, "I don't know. They're pointing at this pot of excrement, and they're happy. It makes them happy." He says, "Oh, if that makes them happy, we'll take it out." So they took it out. Right? They cleaned the place. They said, "Oh, it smells so bad. It's terrible. It's awful." So they took it out, cleaned the place out. So it was clean. From now on, everybody goes to the bathroom outside. Now they could learn Torah, do mitzvahs. So it ended up, because of their happiness, it ended up just by changing your attitude, you get what you want anyway. So it says when a person learns the Torah properly, he starts to see that the whole world really belongs to Hashem. You start to be happy. You realize whatever happens is for the best. Then your happiness makes it that it really comes out for the best. According to Mavur, what's explained, La'il above, let's just finish this paragraph. The Tevat, that the word, quote, put this in quotation marks, Lemor, that the word Lemor, where does this word Lemor appear? Does anybody remember this word Lemor appears? We had it in the second paragraph. Where does the word Lemor appear? Right before the giving of the Torah, it says, Yadaber Elokim is called Lemor. That God spoke all these words to say, and then he gave the Ten Commandments. This is Anochi Hashem Elokeicha. Right? So it says, why does it have to say God spoke all these words to say? To say to who? Everybody was there, all the souls were there. It says, no, God gave you the power to say the words of Torah and bring godliness into the world. Shebetchilat Matan Torah, at the beginning of the Matan Torah, this word, Lemor, to say. When God said, I'm giving you Jews the power to say, it means Netinat Koach, a giving of power, al zeh, on this, sheyihiyu, that they should be be'enecha, in your eyes, chadashim, that the Torah should always be brand new. Of course, you have to work a little bit to do this. It's not enough just to believe. You have to work. But also, the work is also good, but you also have to believe. You have to believe that it's Hashem's Torah, and that the whole world is being brand new, and that the Torah is also brand new. And al yadei zeh, by means of this, when you learn Torah and feel that it is brand new all the time, and it is God's Torah, al yadei zeh, by means of this, megalim, you reveal, kanisker la'el, like we said before, chidush, the novelty, the newness, and new things, dehabriya, of the creation of the world. You feel yourself that you're new, you're always alive. The itchalat, that in the beginning of Matan Torah, I skipped a line. Yeah, no, that's it. Hurry, behold. Shebetchilat, shebehatchala, that in the beginning of Matan Torah, od lifnei, even before the Ten Commandments, when God said, Lemor, before he gave, right before the Ten Commandments, he said that God spoke all these words to say, he gave us the power to bring the Torah, a new Torah into the world. What does it mean new? That we feel the godliness in the Torah. And then we start to feel the godliness in the creation. Everything becomes brand new. Yesh, there is in the Torah, beremez al kapanim, in a way of a hint, in the topic of chidush abriya, of the creation of the world. So what's the Rebbe saying? The Rebbe started the Maamar by saying that the Ten Commandments should have begun with the creation of the world. And now the Rebbe is saying it does. The Ten Commandments do start out with the creation of the world. That's the answer. The answer is that, in fact, the Ten Commandments do start out with the creation of the world. But it's in a hidden way. First of all, we see it from the whole entire Bible. It starts off with the creation of the world in a general way. Then we see that the explanation of the Torah, the Rambam, starts off with the creation of the world, but in a more specific way. And even though more, we see that right before the Torah is given, God said, I'm giving you all the words to say. That when you say the words of Torah, you start to realize that the whole world is being created brand new. It gives you the power. So we see that the beginning of the Torah was the creation of the world, but in a hidden way. The revealed way of the Ten Commandments is, I am God who took you out of Egypt. Okay. What's hidden inside of those words is that I am God who creates the world brand new every second from my essence. As we'll continue more, God willing, tomorrow. But this is the thing you have to feel. A person's talking about feeling. Not just to read the Maamar, And I say, ooh, the Rebbe is really great. Ooh, this is fantastic. Feel a little bit. That's what the Rebbe wants. Okay, have a good day, everybody. Thank you for coming. We ended late, but I wanted to finish the paragraph.